Teamster Power 767 Reality Check with Jeff Schenfeld and Garfield Hooper. All right, here we are again, and we are going to talk about something very important. We're going to do a little bit different, okay?
Yeah.
On a daily basis, management, and let's be honest here, management does some things. They don't do their part, okay? They don't.
Yeah. And we can always make jokes. The most common one around our center is, how do you know when a member of management's lying? Their mouth
Mm.
is moving.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. Oh
and
yeah. Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and tell everybody that that's the way every manager works, but a lot of them do. A lot of supervisors, they will play it fast and loose with the truth, and for the most part, they will happily throw a member under the bus in order to save their own ass. So that's why I
Yeah.
try to tell everybody to be sure and cover yourself. That's why if you're going to communicate with them, do it via text message or do it via the board, so you have something to show. Be like, no, no, I was told. This is what I was told. So you can throw that back at them if it's necessary. And to be perfectly honest, doing that keeps everybody honest on both sides. So
Yeah, it does. It does. And I've said this plenty of times before. I mean, we, no matter what management does, they're going to do their shady stuff.
yeah,
We have to be better. We honestly have to be better. That's
yeah,
it. And, you know, we want to hold the company accountable for the things that they're doing, and it's a lot of stuff. They break the contract constantly. Well, we need to, we're going to hold them accountable. We got to hold ourselves accountable,
yeah,
and we have to be better. I
yeah,
mean, we don't want to put ourselves in different positions, like, if everyone's been through this, they get to their trucks, right? Let's say, they get to their trucks, or, part-time and they get to their area and it's just destroyed, right?
yeah,
They're like, oh God, and like I said, with a package car, they see the truck, it's all messed up. It's, you know, it defeats you sometimes,
yeah.
right?
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, especially the younger drivers. I mean, the salty veterans are like, whatever, but I mean, it isn't, what could go across people's minds is, and I'm not saying it does. We're here to talk about something that, possibly good. So we nip that in the bud. Don't look to lay down
No.
on the route or the work that you're doing. You know, I mean, you act accordingly. I mean, if it's all messed up and everything, well, it's going to take longer no matter what.
Yeah.
Don't, and you work at your safe pace. That's it.
Yep.
That's it. That's honest. That your safe pace where you're going to be able to get through the day and make it home to your family. Right.
Yeah. And please don't look at a supervisor and just and tell them you're going to lay down. Like,
Oh, Lord.
don't
Oh, Lord.
don't do it, and don't tell them you're going to do it. Like, don't threaten it. It's like, oh well, I guess we're going to have late air today, or I guess I'm going to have missed businesses. If that's a real danger, have that conversation with them. Say, hey, my load's in a real bad shape today. Like, I'm going to be struggling to get all these businesses off because I'm going to be digging for them. Don't look at them and say, oh well, and come off like I'm pissed off because my loads looks like crap, or my dispatch is crap today. So you're going to have to deal with missed businesses. It's the different attitude to have. One of them is a way to communicate that you're going to
Yeah.
struggle today as a result of the way you were set up, that you were set up for
Mhm.
failure. And one of them is a threat. That's the way management's going to take it, whether you mean it that way or
Yeah.
not. And
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
important that you choose the right one of those two. And that's having a calm, cordial conversation with them, regardless of what you think has happened, regardless of how upset you are, saying,
With you,
hey,
Stewart.
yeah,
Yeah.
get your steward. Absolutely get your steward. But say, hey, I'm going to have a struggle today because of the way my truck's set up. Take a picture of your truck, take a picture of your load quality, if you're over dispatched or whatever. Take whatever pictures you need to plead your case, but have that communication with either your center manager or your supervisor.
Yeah.
But don't
Yeah.
ever just go out there and just scream and freak out and say, "Hey, I'm going to lay down," or "I'm going to have missed businesses," or "I'm going to have late air," or whatever. Just have that conversation. We
Mm.
like Jeff said, we have to be the bigger person, because
Hmm.
they will more than happily throw that us throw that instance in our face, but
Yep.
I can't look at them and throw their instances in their faces because two wrongs don't make a right.
Nope. Nope. It doesn't. And that's key, and your steward should know that too, and it's like if you know you're gonna have late errand, we leave the buildings later now anyway than
Yeah.
we used to. The correct way to do it is you let them know beforehand. And then if it's 15, 20 minutes before, the error is supposed to be off, you send a message to the board.
Yeah.
I mean, and I always say take a picture of the board,
Yeah.
take a picture of
Yeah.
that because I don't trust them. I
Yeah.
just, you let them know and you put it on them. I mean,
Yeah.
oh, I'm leaving at 10 o'clock. I got to be there at 10:30. I mean, even 9:45, depending on where you have to go. I mean, it's going to take a while, but I mean, you do your best. You don't kill yourself. You go at the pace that you feel safe.
Yep.
Not, oh, run, because that's when you'll get hurt. I
Yep.
mean, we don't want anyone getting hurt. And there's so many things involved, and I know for the younger drivers, the newer members, the newer employees, it's tough. And like I said at the beginning, it kind of you see the work and it kind of defeats you and you get angry. And anyone who's listening to this, I need everyone to think twice before they say something.
Yeah.
Okay? Because it'll become a problem and you don't want to put yourself there. You don't want to put yourself there. Let your steward deal with it. And it's just like, oh, I'm gonna file a grievance on you. And you know what happens? They don't file the grievance, they forget about it. Right. So why did you say it in the
True.
first place? Like just in fact, don't say you're gonna file a grievance, just file the grievance.
Yeah.
Don't let them know.
Yeah.
And if people listen to this and are like, okay, yeah, maybe they've been doing that. They've been, oh, I'm going to file. I'm going to do this. Maybe they think twice and they don't put themselves in a bad spot. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's important. And, the management will send you messages, and again, we talk about part-timers too. They'll come up to you in a certain way. They got to come up to you respectfully, right? And if they send a message through the board, it's got to be
Yeah.
respectfully. Okay. And if you notice that they're not, you take notes and then you file harassment grievance. Don't get into it with them. You don't have a steward there. And we don't do hearings over the phone. They can't call the steward to come over the phone, and they're going to be there. They're going to try to get at you, especially when you're alone.
Yeah.
Oh no, just, do what you have to do, but just don't do anything that's unsafe or unethical.
Yeah.
Okay. I
And
mean,
this, a
yeah,
lot of this comes back to, things that Jeff and I have spoken about before is communicate, overly communicate. Send those
yeah,
messages on the board. If you're comfortable using your personal cell phone, you absolutely do not have to, but if you're comfortable using it, do it via text message. So, like I said, everybody has
mm,
a record of it.
yep,
And, that will help keep everyone honest. I
yep,
have never run into the situation to where a supervisor outright lied about something that I had hard evidence of. And, I'm not going to say it's never happened. I'm sure it has, but,
yeah,
it keeps everyone in the situation honest. We have to be the bigger person. Sometimes that sucks, but that's what we have to do as union members, and especially as stewards. If
yeah,
I'm here to hold the company accountable, hold them to the contract, I can't then ignore parts of the contract that benefits me or my members. You know,
absolutely. Yep.
everybody has to abide by it. And if I go about doing something dishonest towards management, whether it's settling a grievance improperly or
Mhm.
doing whatever, laying down on a
Yeah.
route or whatever,
Yeah.
then my integrity comes into question, and
Yep.
then every representation I've had with a member of this union comes into question. Well, did he tell them to do this? Did he tell them to do this? What else is he doing wrong? I
Yeah.
can, I mean, I can make the excuse that management does that shit all the time. But once again, I have to be better.
Yep. Absolutely. I mean, as a steward, you're held to a higher standard because you're representing members, and and when you're in there, you're on the same level as management.
Yep.
And when you're settling stuff and doing things, you have to do the right thing. You just
Yep.
have to. I mean, you always have to do the right thing. I mean, we can't let it what the company does, turn us bad. And
Yes.
that's where, that's basically the gist of everything we wanted to say. And it's important. So if you're in that situation, you watch this podcast, you listen to the podcast, just remember it. And, don't make the mistake. Don't put yourself in a bad position, and, and let other people know not to do that either.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I'm glad we talked about this. Very important. This is very important. I mean, this is a matter of if you get terminated or you get disciplined or you get nothing because you didn't do anything wrong, just it's important. So for myself and Garfield, have a good day.
We all deal with national language, but on this podcast, when it comes to supplemental language, we deal mostly with the southern region. And as always, it's best to get advice from your local stewards or business agents. If you would like to reach out to us with any questions, we have an email address, 767realitycheck@gmail.com. That's 767realitycheck@gmail.com.
And remember, strong people stand up for themselves, but the strongest people stand up for others.